Hey everybody, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Chuck Green. Today we're going to talk about Avante audio. With everything that's been going on in the world lately, we're finding that people are getting way more creative about how they're using their systems, and it's been really cool hearing from all of you to see what you're doing to kind of keep everything moving and together. We know that there's a lot of people doing outdoor dining events, drive-in movie theaters, couple drive-in concerts, outdoor praise and worship services. So we've been hearing and seeing photos from all kinds of these events. So I think now's a good time to just kind of touch on our product offering and, kind of show you what we've been doing at Avante and what we got going on down the road. So I'm going to start first over here with our Acronic Series. Now, we've had the Acronic Series out for a couple of years. It's been extremely successful. It comes in a 10, a 12, and a 15-inch version. All three of them are bi-amped. There's a Class D woofer, a Class D amplifier on the woofer, and a Class AB on the tweeters. Each one is it's made of a high-impact polypropylene, makes it very lightweight. The 10 is only 25 pounds. The 12 is 35 pounds. And the 15 is only 42 pounds. Now, the 15 and the 12 share the same amp module, which gives you 1,200 watts peak power, and you're getting 400 watts RMS. So it's a tough little box, and it's going to give you quite a bit of output, and it's going to sound fantastic. They also have onboard DSP that we'll look at here in a moment with FIR filters. And that's something you don't see in a box around this price point. They also have in the Acronics a subwoofer complement. Right here I have the 18, and we also have a 15-inch version. So the subs they also have a built-in DSP, and what's really great about these is not only do they have adjustable crossovers, they have presets in the crossovers, so if you have an A12 or an A15, you just simply go in and dial A12, A15. Again, it's 1,600 watts. That is a lot of power, and it's going to give you a ton of bass. You're getting about 131 dB out of the 18. And in the DSP, besides the crossover I just mentioned, you have phase reverse, there's delay, you even have cardioid mode and end fire mode, which is, again, a feature you don't usually find in a subwoofer in this price point. So be sure to go into your local Avante dealer and give these guys a listen. It's worth mentioning too that the subs do come with a pole. There is an M20 thread in there, so you're not going to get a lot of rattling. The pole is in there nice and tight. Another fun feature, if you want to come back up to the top here, is all the Acronic Series have this push button 7.5 degree tilt, so you don't have to take it off and move speaker cups or any of that. You just simply press a button and you can pop it right back. So let's take a quick look at the DSP and the back plate, and we'll do that here on the A10. So all of the Acronic Series and all of the Avante active speakers, for that matter, have balanced XLR ends, and they also have a TRS balanced combi plug on the back as well. You have a mic line button, so you can turn this into a mic pre should you just want to simply plug a microphone in, do announcements at school or your bingo parlor. Jose Heredia over here filming, he's a big bingo guy. I think he uses this down at the bingo parlor. So anyhow, they also, before I get into the DSP too, I should mention they all have M10 fly points as well. So these speakers are great for installs. So if we can get into the DSP, you can see here, so the first thing I want to do is just point out the menu. So if you have to take a quick look, you'll see right now it's in normal mode. Location is pull, which, it's on a stand. And then there's no bump or deficit in the high or low frequencies. So I'm going to go ahead and press mode on the encoder here. So you'll see we have some factory presets in the DSP. So here's normal, which is just flat EQ. Live for that, live concert vibe. Club, which gives you a little bit of a bass boost. And then speech. Speech is great, again, if you're at the bingo parlor or if you're just plugging a mic right in. You also have RCA inputs. You have an 1/8 inch stereo input. And then you also have a summed balanced output as well on this. One of the really neat features on here as well is that this amp module is fully sealed. And even though this is one of the most reliable speakers I've actually ever worked with, but if for some reason you had a service issue, you can simply remove the amp module using a Phillips screwdriver. There's 2 clips for the wires inside, pops right out. Talk to our service department. If you have a gig the next day, we'll do our best to get a new module to you once we figure out what's going on. So anyhow, again, this is the Acronic Series. This is the 10, 12, and 15. You can use them as we have them here. You can turn them on their side and use them as a floor wedge as well. You can actually rotate the little logo when you're doing it as a floor monitor, just for product placement. So another product we have in the Acronic lineup is the AS8, which is our extremely portable stick system. Now, I have to put it together. The AS8 comes with this 8-inch sub, and then you have the speaker column that goes right on top using our SAM locking system, and bam, it's set up. You can just take the bag and stash it over behind it. So this guy gives you 180 degrees of coverage. It's perfect for those outdoor dining areas, cocktail hours, overflow in your church. Right now with what's going on, I've got a ton of restaurants using these outdoors for their outdoor seating, and they love it because they only need one and it covers a big area, and you're not getting blasted at one end and getting barely any sound at the other. It's a very even coverage. You've got 6 2.75-inch neodymium drivers here in the top, giving you your highs and mids, and then we also have an 8-inch neodymium driver in the sub, which is providing the low end. The entire thing is 250 watts RMS, so it is potent as well. You have 2 XLR TRS combo inputs on the back that you can use for either mic or line. I've actually plugged in an acoustic guitar into one of these, and the preamps sound really, really good. I was pretty surprised because usually with an acoustic guitar, you want to have a preamp, but if you just need to do a quick gig, this thing is perfect. It also has a stereo output, so if you have 2 of these, you can run an XLR to another unit and use them in stereo. So this is the AS8. Again, it is our most mobile mini PA system. So now we're going to get onto the bigger stuff. So this is probably our most popular product. It's called the Imperio Series, and here's an Imperio module with the grill off, and you can see here we've got 6 inverted domes. They have a little phase plug to do some adjusting around 8K, and then you have 2 4.75-inch neodymium woofers. Take a look at the back here. So inside each one of these little 14-pound modules, you have a 240 watt Class D. That's 240 watts RMS, by the way, not peak. It's Class D amplifier. Has onboard DSP. Has some suggested configurations that tie into the DSP settings. You have your input sensitivity attenuation here. You have locking power in and out, and of course your balanced audio in and out as well. And it's worth showing without the grill. The integrated hardware on this is no joke. You have full steel going through the entire unit for the pins. It's not like there's any load-bearing plastic or anything, but each one of these little 14-pound bricks is just packed with technology, and you wouldn't believe the sound a lot of these engineers are getting out of them. Again, it's almost like it's the most modular line array or column system I've seen out there right now. We can do things like ground stacks. I have one in white here, as a matter of fact. There's a bunch of different rigging options. The subwoofer, I should talk about that a little bit. So much going on with the Imperios, I just go all over the place with it. But the subwoofer is a 6-order bandpass. It has 2 10-inch subs or 10-inch drivers in it. Each one has 2-inch voice coils. You're getting 700 watts RMS. Each driver has an individual amp module, so you're not going to worry about overheating one module driving both speakers or any of that. Has a built-in integrated crossover, phase reversal, things like that. There are rigging options for the sub. As a matter of fact, the maximum hang for the Imperios is 2 subwoofers with 8 Imperio modules underneath. There's a couple sound companies out there doing what we call the Imperio Max, which is the 8 modules under 2 subs, and they're doing crowds up to 1,500 people with this. It's unbelievable, especially considering the labor to rig up one of these mini line arrays. You know, it could be 2 guys in 45 minutes. As a matter of fact, I have a pair of 2 4-box hangs. I don't know if we can get up there, Jose. But again, you can hang 8 of those if you like off of one rigging bar. And up there I have the single rigging bar, which I have the white version of it right here. Yeah, so it's real basic. You can take your span sets and shackles and use that, but we are coming out with a new version, which is more of like a tomahawk style. So you have different pick points, so you can do a single pick point, and has the tongue to go on the back, because you do have 4 different splay angle options with the Imperio series. Let me see, I have some more accessories. Oh, here is the rigging bar for the subwoofer. So if you were going to hang 2 subs, for example, you would attach this to the top of one. The subs will actually link together with their integrated hardware, and then you put another one of these on the bottom and attach your Imperio modules right here with these 2 tabs. We also, because we know every gig is not a massive gig, sometimes you're going to do a smaller one, and that's the great thing with the Imperio. You don't have to have one giant line array for big events and then one small system for other events. You just bring less Imperios, and we have options like this Imperio pull, which you can see here. By the way, this is the same subwoofer that here, and here. You can lay it on their side, so you get better coupling to the floor. But if you do lay them on their side, you still have a M20 socket on the top, so you can go horizontal with the sub, but there's also one on the top in case you want to have the sub vertical. So here's an example of what we call the gig rig. Just 2 Imperio modules on the pole, on the sub, and this is great, you know, if you're doing a room with a couple hundred people, or again, if you need a little cocktail hour system, or a delay system for your bigger system as well. So let me see here. I believe it's this one. Nope, that's empty. Let me push this over here. And by the way, this is a wall mount for the Acronic Series that I showed you earlier. It has adjustments on either end, so this is great for the installs. But here is the Imperio QRC. It's a quad case. So it has every, space for everything. You got 4 Imperio modules. You have room for a rigging bar on this side, whatever rigging bar you'd like to use. And of course your cables, both power and audio on the other side. These cases are stackable. Even when you have them full, they're still just you and a buddy, load in, load right out. And what I usually like to do is just put the subwoofer on top of the case, strap it down, and move on out. So again, this is the Imperio series. I could talk about different configurations for hours on the Imperios. We're just so proud of this system, and all the people out there using it in ways we didn't even think they would. It's been really cool, and we look forward to supporting the Imperios for a very long time. So, well, I guess we can move on and kind of show you a couple things we're working on. Of course, with everything that's going on in the world, things have slowed down a little bit. Suppliers and engineers, and we all have to get creative and do things over Zoom and stuff, but at a certain point, the engineers need to get their hands on the speakers to kind of help finish it up. We're getting close, but we're going to just go ahead and give a sneak peek of the AXD series. So, all right, we over here? All right. So the AXD series is basically going to be our flagship point source wood boxes. They're all really high powered. The onboard DSP is very, very in-depth. There's lots of different features. Let's see, we can, it's actually going to be available in an 8, a 10, this is the 10 I believe, yeah, the 12 and a 15, and we will have several different subwoofer options for it as well. What makes these speakers special is, of course, they're very feature rich. Again, really high quality plywood, really high quality finishes. The drivers, you know, we have neodymium drivers, we have amazing compression horns. But on board, let me step up here. Can we take are we able to get a close up of the DSP? There we go, get in there. So again, this is the AXD series. It also uses balanced XLR input. It also has a TRS input in the middle. It's a combo jack. You do have an output, and one of the really neat things about this is you can go in the menu and select either between a summed output, meaning whatever you've done on here will go out to the other speaker, or you can just make it a discrete through, meaning it's just going to pass the audio through. No matter what you change on here, it won't change it on the other speaker. So anyhow, let me go get in here. Now some of these features may look familiar because we did borrow some of the fun stuff from the Acronics. Let me turn that so we can get a better look. All right, there we go. So you have normal, which again is flat, live mode, speech, and club. Now, just so you know, these settings aren't exactly the same as the Acronic because this is a different box. The Acronic is plastic and this is plywood, but you know, in the menu, the familiarity will be the same. It'll be easy to use. If you can use one, you can use the other. So I'm going to leave it on normal. And let's go here. It also has location, again, like the Acronic, pole, floor monitor, and just or on a wall bracket. Let's see. So now this is where it gets a little different. The Acronic has, you know, both high and low controls. This will give you a little bit more control of your EQ and gives you some mid-range control as well. Also, one of the fun things about this EQ is you get 5 user presets. So you can store it, especially if you're a guy that, or a guy or gal that may gig at several different places, but you know, you're kind of doing the same 5. You got the Elks Lodge, you know, you got the church hall, you know, whatever. So you can actually store those locations in your presets, which is pretty handy. Also, the AXD features delay. Had a lot of people saying, we love the Acronics, but we need delay because we're doing, you know, some guys are doing car shows, even a guy doing air shows, you know, you need the sound to arrive all at the same time. Or if you're just doing, again, simple concerts in the park, praise and worship, things like that, where you'll have speakers all over the place, you need to have a delay on board. So we got you covered there with up to 100 milliseconds of delay. Let's see. What else do we got in here? Oh yeah, I really like this one. It has an onboard high pass filter. So we've got 80 hertz, 100 hertz, 120 hertz. So you can go in and just set up your own filters. So next, now this is what really not separates us from the Acronics. This separates us from a lot of speakers out there. This guy is Dante enabled. So I don't know for those of you that are familiar with Dante, but it's kind of the industry standard of low latency audio over Ethernet. We're really proud to work with them. It's been it's been an ongoing process, but we've got it integrated into the AXD. We think, again, a speaker in this price point with this feature set, it's pretty unbelievable. And also to have it have Dante on board, we're really proud of that. So again, this is the AXD series. It's something we've been working on. You'll probably see it hit the stores in a couple months, and I'm sure we'll do more videos about it. It's also worth mentioning there are rigging points all over this thing, so if you have a club or a permanent install or a church, you can rig it just about any way you like. It also features push button tilt, so again, very feature rich. Now, one last thing I want to show you is another product we're working on, and I'm actually standing on top of it right now. It is the ADX 212C. So this guy, hey, you can see my shoes down there. So this guy has, just like the name says, whoa, here we go, 212s in it. Now it is a cardioid sub. So really, what the end result you're going to get is your bass focused out front, and it's going to be a lot quieter in the back. So I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have done gigs where your subwoofers are just pumping, but it's also rattling you and, you know, causing a little bit of mucky bass behind you. So this really focuses the energy forward. It drops about 15 dB in the back and really kicks the bass right out of the front. It's called disruptive phase in the back. It's a really cool technology. But anyway, it keeps bass in its place, and this comes in really handy, again, just to keep you from having all this bass thrown at you when you're gigging, but it's also really great for installs, especially buildings that are connected to other businesses where you don't want to rattle your neighbor or whatever. This really helps you put its bass in its place. So again, that's going to be called the ADX 212C. Look for it in a couple months. We are having a lot of fun working on a lot of new products. We can't wait to show you. Again, a couple things have slowed down, but we're really working hard here, and we're going to have some really cool stuff moving into 2021 for you. And we really hope we get to see you guys soon, sooner than later, you know, at one of the trade shows. But I really appreciate you guys joining us. And it's also worth mentioning, you know, the response has been unbelievable on Facebook, especially from Latin America. So muchos gracias, Latin America. And, you know, please check us out on Facebook, Avante Audio. Check out www.avanteaudio.com. Hashtag Avante Audio on Instagram, all kinds of stuff. And again, keep throwing the ideas at us. Please feel free to throw us some questions on Facebook. We're doing our best to keep up with all of them. But again, we really appreciate you guys. So anyhow, I'm Chuck Green. I will see you next time.